There's
Okay, we're live.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the nest table. The what? I've never been.
Oh, that's tomorrow or something.
They call the airport from the nest.
I'm not here.
They're doing a nest table Friday, right?
Yeah. Oh, I told you that I forgot to play
The
too
nest.
yesterday.
Oh, okay. It's the nest table.
Rob, I have a wedding this weekend, and I forgot. I thought I booked a flight like a week ago, but I just looked at it on my phone, and it was like charging me incorrectly. So I was like, oh, I'll buy it when I get home, because I was at an airport coming back here, and I looked for my ticket yesterday. I was like, shit, I don't have a ticket. It was like $500, and I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible.
So are you going home?
I mean, it's in Raleigh, yeah. Yeah, in North Carolina.
You're going to North Carolina.
Can you hit the heart button if you can see this?
Okay, and then my mom gave me her credit
There's
card
two
to
people
put it on,
on.
but it didn't work. So then I just paid for it myself anyway.
Why don't you just drive? It's cheaper.
Oh.
Find another student
It's
that's
just like an hour flight, right?
It's like 2. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of what, like 12 hours? I don't know.
Probably at least 12.
If someone else were coming, it could be really fun.
I want to do a road trip.
Well,
Not this weekend.
I can
I'm gonna be
cancel.
stuck in. Actually, my family.
Huh?
I've seen you.
No,
I'm
I've
stuck
never
in the
really been
U.S. I
here.
can't leave the country, so we can do a road trip.
Good.
I like what like I'm thinking about like next week. Like, what the hell am I gonna do for a week? Because I have no school. Like, what am I gonna do? Yeah, but I just have to.
It was her first
Very awesome for the first time.
Yeah, actually, that's what I'm gonna do.
adorable.
I'm gonna do a lot of exams.
They're both free.
I've never been to any of them yet.
It's weird when you go home and there's like all this new life.
Yeah, and I just saw them at Christmas, but they're like
Hey. How full is it in there? It's really full.
Oh
But
yeah,
we
all
have
the
an
MDes people are
overflow.
gonna come see you by the way.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mandy and she was like, we had like an MDes cohort meeting afterwards and she's like, oh my god, if it like conflicts we have to reschedule so we can go see you.
Oh, thanks.
What? Sorry, no. But I was just
Oh,
texting
are
the
you ready?
apartment.
Yeah.
For where?
Yeah.
Did you
No, I don't know yet.
Did you apply for teaching
Yeah.
at UNLV?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I just sent him an email actually this morning, like, and
I
I'm
need
like,
to know what's going
yeah, I
on.
was like,
I'm broadcasting live, so.
Nice. I didn't get anything. But I just told him, yeah, you know,
Oh, hurry,
time
things
with me,
along.
like, oh, fine, you can accept it, and go look in your research. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Happy today.
I think I've had that happen to me before.
I was like, but I still want you interview, you know?
I've never been on here.
That's fine.
It's
Did you- Well, okay. I actually like I want to know, but I don't want to ask about job stuff.
Oh, like, I said no to job.
I'm on the live
And I
TV.
still
I
have
just
no-
realized from where I'm
Yeah,
standing.
just like, I didn't like you, I don't want to go here.
This won't go for more than
I just want to I'm stuck here.
It ends at
Okay.
It's an okay place to
12:50,
be.
so that's the cutoff. You can have 10 minutes to go to the other one.
Oh, so they have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I was worried, does that have to be at 1:30?
Yeah. It
And
should
I'm
be.
like, well, what if they just take their time and they have nothing else to do after?
Thought we were friends.
Well, it is lunch.
Dear Harvard,
After.
how dare you throw me out into the street?
Don't keep me up
I think
for
you'll
8
be
hours.
fine.
Can I just sleep, like, please?
I'll cut it.
Oh, I'll be able to rest my head at night.
You're gonna be staying with Max, right?
Gave you so much.
Well, Max is only arriving in August. I'm actually visiting apartments for him. And I have to figure out what am I doing in July. If you want to sublet my room, it might be last minute.
Yeah, I know. I haven't like told anyone,
Okay,
but like
good.
it's an option though, because I'm not gonna be here all of July.
Outside,
Oh, wait.
homeless, with my furnitures.
My apartment might be available to sublet in July. It's
But my
kind of
rent is
expensive, though.
cheaper.
Her rent's cheaper.
Yeah, I have no job, so no money. Good for the cheap rate.
Yeah,
All of our lives, no
yeah.
job, no money.
I know.
No money, actually.
like writing this secretly.
That's like having no job, no money.
I like my in the corner, but his stuff
I
is
think I
here,
started living
so.
on credit again.
And also in
There's
there.
more
Oh, I got
stuff
my
in
first
there.
credit card.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. I felt very uncomfortable about this.
Yeah,
Because then in the end, she made me send you a thing that was like, just be aware that the credit, like the percentage
can change.
No, the percentage for this card is much higher than regular credit card.
What card did you get?
It's a travel card. The reason I got it was because I didn't want to pay transaction fees, but I still wanted to use the card and I travel. So like, but then I was like, oh, I'm not.
You feel
I don't
better?
really know anything
Yeah.
about credit cards, and you just give
And
it
it's
to me to get
oversleeping
one.
a lot, which I think is helping.
Yeah.
You're very good like saleswoman.
I think I need to leave that. I don't know how to say
Oh,
I
thanks
had
for
someone
coming.
else.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
You know, when you go to college, you're like, here's all these credit cards.
Is everyone intending to watch? Is everyone intending to watch your presentation? I don't know how you're gonna see
I
it.
know, it's going to be very
I
limited.
work and quit my job, and then I needed an income. My credit card.
I wanted to ask Brad to Piper when we needed the
Did you see that leopard video?
Before, so
Leon told me I
first time.
How was she? You look like you're. I was. You're you look like you're on a.
Okay, so I know what's going on. So I don't know what's going on. There's no completely.
It might just be limited.
Yeah, that's what you said, that it was limited.
Like,
So
like death right now.
are you just waiting for them to like
Yeah.
walk down here? Okay, so I should go in there first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to peek in there before I can't peek in there.
What's up? Hey, I was told that like we might not be able to look later, so I'm gonna look now.
Yeah, for we
Got that
probably
flow.
won't see it. Yeah. The jury will be all around it. And jury
What?
first, right?
Heavy flow.
Is there some taste? Is this actually? Did you make this up?
I made last night we were talking about it. I just want Brad.
He will giggle.
Wait, where's his plaque?
You're like,
I think we're gonna put it here. The leaf flower?
It should be on the window. because
Or maybe
that's
right where
like-
Sam is?
Yeah, as soon as you walk in.
Yeah.
Should be right on the door. Like,
Yeah.
There's 6 people on right now.
Where's B-Rad?
That's what we should have done. We should have
How do you think they're looking at my
built
outfit?
it and made it look like a stone or something.
Oh, like engraved.
Like
stone.
engraved. Like this is endowed with slab.
You're right in it.
Where?
Huh?
You're right in it.
I think it's your side. Where is it? Go like
Uh,
the white access.
official.
There's not really specific
Official position.
proposal of the
So
system,
official with this giant. Okay.
but I kind of focus on this site.
Should I put one on?
Yeah.
Which is
The elevator.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, now I'm looking. I'm gonna ask you to give me a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
See how I
yeah.
can integrate it.
Uh-huh.
Maybe even like a little beginning.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
even on here.
Yeah, I have
Video stuff.
Yeah, right? Like, hey guys, we got a room on the map. Like, they could have just went like this. Grab a
Yeah.
pencil.
I'll see what I can do with it.
It's also that thing, like,
Well, they were running
there's a lot of
like
back information.
last
You guys,
jury. I was just saying.
for the most part, they're mostly going to be generalized.
Right.
Unbreakable.
Yeah, so maybe we can start with one of the videos and then go I don't know. Just think.
Yeah, no. You
You haven't seen me at my worst. I was horrible.
What?
I saw you at the beginning of your work.
I think my body was just aching. But then shit got me real.
Yeah. You survived it.
But
You were sick?
yeah.
You took out contacts?
No, I'm just not wearing my glasses. I can't see it. It's kind of like
How are you?
Good to see you.
I wanted to book an overflow and have a live video on the screen. Like, they would. I was a TA, so I don't have access anymore.
How was the studio?
It was good.
Yeah?
It was good, yeah. That's really
Yeah?
Well, they can watch the video afterwards.
Yeah.
But that could be stuff.
Yeah, that's not
That's good.
Yeah. And you always call it.
It was like kind of a nice balance.
Yeah, thank you. And then
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That he posted that I had to see.
Oh, that's nice.
Even if you're live streaming.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's something everyone who went there. Like, everyone keeps speaking highly of it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, never felt that.
Of course. Everywhere.
it's not the same. You stand here, and I'm gonna back, and then you'll be able to first three.
Yeah.
Here, he's gonna start here. But see, another spot you can go. You can hear through that.
Yeah. Press this down.
And then
I want to see the big model. This model.
Where we go?
In that room.
Oh, in here?
But thank you.
Oh, the room to the right, there's bags in there.
Over here.
oh, for your bags?
I know. I was going to say here. Invited reviewers. No, seriously? This is where we're done?
We're starting.
This is it?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I hope it
being recorded.
I hope it has something to do with your thesis.
Yeah.
Should,
I hope so too.
You can get behind me.
There's something in here to see, or this is not part of it.
Okay.
Well, this here will be, so there'll be
Oh, I
like
see.
a,
Yeah.
yeah, there'll be a movement.
Is it working? Is it running?
Yes.
Oh, you see that.
He's gonna start.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being my critics for my thesis, and my apologies for this small space. But we will be moving into a larger space after presenting just the general concepts, the site, and some of the case studies that I've been looking at. So my name is Leif Estrada. I am a candidate in the MDes Urbanism, Landscape, and Ecology, as well as Landscape Architecture degree here at Harvard, GSD. And my advisor is Cantrell. I've been working with him actually since the summer before thesis on this whole idea for it. So I'll just start with stating what my abstract is briefly, which is also in the pamphlets that you've been provided. So my thesis incorporates the design of a robotic machine which will attune the fluvial morphology of the LA River through a series of real-time sensing and responsive manipulations as a way to curate the projective successions of the river, constantly altering and modifying the riverine landscape, privileging the evolution of ecological processes over static constructions. The machine will learn from the initial site conditions of the LA River, but also from the modifications it will produce independently. The landscape machine will eventually become sentient through learning from its environments, iteratively honing on specific operational processes. Some of those processes have been listed on the abstract within that pamphlet. And just to go over briefly on some of my concepts. It's very Latourian, so I'll make sure to keep it brief. So we all could, in a way, agree that our understanding of what nature is, that there is a rejection of the dichotomous image created by the man-made and what we can call as the untouched image of nature, was brought upon by technological advancements that we as humans develop in order to tame and modify all known natures. And this produces some sort of anxiety and question as to what is nature. But also technological advancements have allowed us to create and conceptual hybrids of biotic and abiotic systems, which facilitate the emergence of novel ecologies. And so to this, I would like to talk about Elizabeth Krauss's diagram of decline. Kind of like these binaries between like novel ecologies and synthetic ecologies, and also what is the nature in the machine. So that begins to create a blur between the two, and begins to create a range of those binaries. So some of the case studies I've been looking at were hybrid interactions of both biotic and abiotic systems, the indeterminate and the intentions of design, the levels of control of nature and environment with the machines we have created. I also would like to note that we will never gain 100% control of these processes. However, we can begin to predict the new morphologies as we further develop machines that understand the environment, and furthering narrowing the gap between what is designed and which is our intentionality and the environment, which is have some indeterminacies. I'd like to relate it kind of like to an asymptote in mathematics, where you can further slowly move closer to the origin point, but never touch that point in terms of the narrowing of the gap. So some of the case studies I've been looking at included the sand engine that's in the Netherlands that can't predict exactly the form of the sandbar that it's producing, and also the Alameda Island in San Francisco Bay Area, which the land expansion of it could also cause the decline due to liquefaction. And also the site that I chose for this is the LA River. I chose it because of, in a way we tried to tame this river, however created a new ecology and nature of it. And talking to many people from LA and Angelinos, they see the river as being not a river, which is a very interesting view of it. Currently, the river is kept facing under the phase of succession, or to put in LA terms, like a new facelift for the river. Also, this is being done for and proposed for the Olympics bid in 2024. The politics of it can be quite sticky, but Mayor Garcetti recently secured a $1 billion budget to revitalize the river for the bid for the Olympics, and in the end, Frank Gehry was selected over Mia Lair to oversee such project. And recently, don't want to do all that, but recently, Gehry was asked a question in the LA Times asking what would happen to the concrete. It's about 51 miles of stretch from Calabasas all the way down to Long Beach, completely lined with concrete. And the project looks to begin with the downtown stretch of the river, which is around 6 miles. And that 6 miles alone would produce around 9.8 million cubic feet of concrete. So I'm placing my project in a way asking, could we then include sedimentation processes and the breaking down of the concrete as a new phase and succession of the river, and tied with the proposal of a sentient machine. And
What was Gary's answer to that question?
he didn't really answer it. He said that it would be incorporated in some way. So the article was dated in October last year, so it was during the time I was working with Rosetta and Garrett on our thesis club. So it fortunately became like part of the story of it. So my design proposal is implementing the sedimentation processes along with the hybrids of the sentient machine, which would learn from the indeterminate river and be opportunistic, as the installation of the machine would determine the locations of the subdivision of the concrete lining, infiltrate and create new aquifers for LA, which, as we all know, has been very dry and arid. And currently, the river, on a daily basis, it dumps out all the water in Long Beach, around 700 million gallons of water per day. And none of it is being utilized in terms of So my proposal is using these piles to then start charging new aquifers, and also this would determine the potential plant species that would colonize the river as these piles interrupt the flow of sedimentation that would begin to create a more temporal type of succession of the morphology of the river. So we could walk into the larger space and hopefully so have one larger shape.
Like, no, it's not large. It's great.
Talk about hurting.
You're official critics. Official critics first.
What is it? I don't know. It doesn't say it. I'm not sure. Sorry.
I don't think we're no. I feel like we're supposed
on the wall right here are more text in terms of looking at these piles that I'm proposing that would disrupt the flow in a way to create new forms of land that would be competing on the river.
What's the randomization of the interrupters? What is the algorithm that you're using to say this is what we want to happen?
So the model, I would just like to make it clear, the model is not exactly how I'm using this model particularly. It's not how I'm disclosing it, because of the response of intensity. But what I wanted to do is use these details. If you begin to identify lines of the flow first, these would also either up or down to collect the water and then start the acid. So depending on the dryness and the level of what is below, kind of have this binary relationship between below and above. But for this particular movement of the model, if you can see the right model here, it's looking at so the camera is then looking at this in real time, identifying the lightest and the darkest colors. In a way, it's giving a faux topography of change, so white being the highest point, the darkest being the lowest point. So right now, so you can see this dot of circle is going all over the white. So it's identifying a high point. So the machine then could begin to decide whether it would accrete more land on that particular spot or erode it. So as those, as the sediments then build up and deposit in certain spots producers, that begins to correlate to what we can project as the type of species that will begin to colonize the area. So the faster moving sediments would probably require plantings that could hold that the flow of the current.
So I have a quick question, just so I understand, I don't lose you. The model examples you're saying it's not really representative of what you're projecting in the images, and I'm assuming that's in part because the samples that represent the different particle sizes are not actually weighted accordingly. So are we seeing them move more by color, or are we seeing they're not really...
It's a little bit diagrammatic in terms of what is happening, so we can begin to say that the pink is more distinct.
It's lighter.
Yeah, it's lighter, so it's moving faster.
So you are getting some responsiveness to that.
But in just another clarification, in your modeling, what about the profile of the channel? Is it the same?
Right, so for that one, how they're proposing it currently was, they recently purchased 3 sites. So there's Taylor Yards, the cornfields, and Pink Backyard. So those are sites that they would quote unquote revitalize. So I am saying that these are also loners who are already adjacent to the concrete that could release the sediment.
So the machine here, so there are things happening. This camera is reading them, sending information back to the model, and then that responds and changes what's happening.
Yeah.
So is this a model or is it a robot?
I'm calling it as my sentient machine. It's robotic.
I think that's really interesting that, for me, it completely changes the discussion of whether I think of this as a model or as a robot. Because there's like a technical definition of what a robot is. And then when you then I start to think immediately, and of course I jump way ahead and I think, like, oh, what if the river could be a robot?
I would say though you're not saying this is a model of the LA River channel, right? If you abstract some sediment across the
I know, it's just where this whole
and in some ways it
sort of
compresses the kind of concept of representation, right? All into kind of one step of this kind of feedback loop of interaction. So there is
So that's the robot design intervention.
But even still, these, I don't fully understand what's going on here, but these are also responsive somehow.
Right, yeah.
And would they involve the use of sensors in some way as well?
So I'm thinking is that
So I think the question stands.
what I'm saying, like, they would be gridded in a way that satellites would be able to use them as registration points. So it would have a localized reading of all these particular tiles. And then, so they would be telescoping depending on their.
So they're kind of robots as well.
Yeah.
Because I want to follow up on that. I know you're not done, but is it kind of pivot point in the way you describe the thesis, I think? If this is, whether this is a robotic model that is not predicted, or whether it's people doing something as they are instructed, this commands a lot of intellectual real estate in the room. And I'm really interested as you go forward, just where you can help guide us, link this to what's on the wall, because that's what I'm looking at, really the static imagery, to understand how that drives the thesis forward.
So we're already shared the first one to what happened with the animation. I'm seeing the work, the person, and projected. And are you describing it was each of these tiles would begin to respond when flooding occurs, And so these tiles rise like either up or down.
And you're in the riverbed?
Yeah, so how it's laid out is as we're stripping off the concrete, these would begin to create a triangulation in terms of how to subdivide this concrete and further integrate them into smaller pieces. And then just eventually release it by using the water.
And they're also collecting water. You
Yes.
also have them. And they are, so is this here, I guess the question is, so if these things come up, are they also modifying sediment flow? Is that your plan?
Yeah,
Are
so
they're
this is
modifying sediment flow and releasing sediment and collecting water?
Yeah.
All of it.
And what happens to the concrete?
Yeah.
What happens to what? The concrete. Concrete.
That is taken away, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that they would be further degraded and be left to then be eaten away and grow faster by the machine.
What is the, I'm missing that link, what's driving the concrete, first the breaking apart and then the erosion? Just my mechanical weathering and flow?
So selecting the site would be from the concrete would be where essentially adjacent to the sites that are selected. So then I guess from there it's more manual in terms of the breaking down of the concrete and then breaking that into pieces and then release, like kind of leaving it there.
I don't need to be done. What's breaking it up?
Well, let me interject here. In the Taylor yard, the Taylor yard doesn't have a bottom. They couldn't pave it over because the water comes up there. That's one of the sites he's working at, so that there is no bottom there.
Okay, so then you immediately have geothermal fluvial activity going on with the water anyway, and you're using this sensorium thing to determine where you direct flow and velocity of flow, for example, to further exacerbate the mechanical weathering. Okay.
So can I suggest that, the difference, perhaps a change in the way in which you're looking at this, that sees us, that I should say that this is not a river, the way in which you're saying it. And it's not just about a shift in, we understand your reason, but it's the fact that a river never existed here to begin with. So if I look at this, actually, if I read this actually as a holding system, this is a concept actually that many cultures around the world actually in dry systems have actually built wells. Actually, they didn't say recharge aquifers. It was about holding. It's about soaking. But then it is also about not seeing something just running to the sea. It is actually about a holding. So it's not about flowing, it's about holding and overflowing.
Right.
So if I look at it like that actually and say that we're challenging the whole concept of a river to begin with, that this is not about changing the idea of looking at it as a river, but that there's no such thing as a river here, and that it is a holding system, then this makes sense without all the overlays actually of, the logic of, recharging aquifer, that they're trying to actually disambiguate the ground. You don't want to do that. You want to maintain the mystery of the, you don't want to claim information that you can't have. And so you're charging in numbers. You're making wells in numbers. And I think that's a commendable project. But I would encourage you to then move into a different reading of the Earth's surface. That it's not about flow systems. It's about overflow systems. It's about holding and overflow systems. It's just a different language and different. It just makes for a different ground, and then the possibility actually of new ideas to emerge actually. So you're not making diagrams like that. That's so misleading.
Which one?
That on the top. You're still encouraging a river structure. I move into a field like nature, which is this. So it's about, it's not about those two lines now anymore. It's not about lines at all. You know, it's about maybe, I mean, this is what, I mean, we have done this to sort of shift the ground protection from, surrounding perspective. So, I mean, I mean, there's something fantastic about the project. But I just think that you're reverting to representational strategies actually in order to explain it and belittling your own project and the ambition of it.
Is there a reason we can talk really specifically, I guess, since I've actually seen this crazy machine before. Not with your thing on. Why poles instead of, say, like fins, for example, in terms of like collecting sediment? Just to think about how sediment might move. And the idea of a bunch of poles that will actually, and the idea that these poles as circular objects are really interfering with sediment movement significantly seems, I don't know, can you describe that decision?
I actually did have an iteration of this type of model in that iPad, and I made a website for it. But under methodology, I worked on an independent study with Brad as well, which these machines that would then identify the flow decided either to interrupt it and hold water or redirect it. So I can go to that video.
Your battery's low.
Yeah, so I did think about different technologies in terms of how to intervene with the river. And I guess I wanted to have some minimal effect on the river and not so much this hard engineered lane that like blocks everything. I can show it on the water history.
That's all right.
Maybe more importantly, like we never see this, but like the question is like you did try a bunch of things, so why did you settle on this?
You're right. So more so because I wanted to be an opportunistic sentient machine that could do multiple things with kind of like just going with the whole binary thing that where its function when it's completely down has one effect versus when it's up, and just have that binary relationship of what is happening above.
Isn't it also about points in the landscape that are
recharging? Right, yeah. So hence
So I mean, you're not. It's partially about sediment deposition, but it's really about the moments that you're.
I'm wondering if I'm not actually officially listed as a juror, so you don't have to answer my question. I'm just wondering, in your mind, like, what's at stake in the project? Is it about water capture techniques? Is it about the role of representation in our discipline and profession and visualization techniques? I mean, what's at stake with what you've done?
I think for me being able to create this real-time one-to-one sensing is something that we as humans are inherently not capable of in order to then produce a response to whatever we're sensing. So for me, it's producing new realities that otherwise we would not be able to imagine if it's not for like being able to, because what we're doing currently is like we're post-processing things, and then we would then deploy and propose any sort of interventions after we have those analysis. And so I think for me, that in a way this can be, in general, a tool that we can use as designers, as landscape architects, that we can then use to our advantage in terms of understanding those concepts.
So if that's the case, it's a game changer in terms of what it means to be a designer working in a landscape that is as social and economic as it is ecological. And for each of these things that your sentient machine responds to and changes, there are presumably a whole host of social cultural implications for them. And of course, change is neither positive nor negative. It's what we decided is. And as a designer, tell me if you imagine, in answering Julia's question, how do you see a device like this being used in the greater, the cultural realm in which this basin sits, which of course is multivariate and fraught and full of all kinds of tension and creativity. Can you imagine a scenario for any point along the line of the basin where this machine senses a series of variables, responds to them, makes changes? How is that judged, used? What does it lead to in terms of intervention beyond the thing itself?
I'll actually be very honest with that. I did want to avoid the whole social and political aspect of it, just because it's already, in terms of like what I'm dealing with, with the whole one-to-one feedback loop system, that I never really delved into those specifics. But I understand, like, also, like, going to the site, there are a few canons that do exist on the river, and in a way, like, do call that home. And initially, I was looking at those as a factor into my thesis.
Well, I think there's great temptation to hide behind this machine for all of us. Tools are powerful, but ultimately they serve us.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a richer answer to that from a discussion maybe with
Did you see this video that was like on the internet last week? This wave machine that Kelly Slater, the surfer, has created in Fresno. You saw that?
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm sitting here, and the project is both like wonderfully monstrous, but then the way you talk about its actual payoffs are, I think, disturbingly modest. You know, I think about the reversal of the Chicago River, right? And that these things which are proposed to like solve problems, they just create unintended consequences. Maybe that's not necessarily bad, it just sort of is, right? So it like becomes somewhere between, and so those are the two things I'm thinking about. It's like the Chicago River, the LA River, and then Kelly Slater's wave machine. And so I want, and you brought up the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to know, like, can this thing make an island in a week? Right? And then move the island next week? Right? Can it do that? It seems like it should be able to. If Kelly Slater can make a perfectly huge and curling wave using like a displacement coil, you should be able to do that.
Yeah, you probably did it. You just haven't shown us.
I mean, I was thinking about the program, the Olympics, right, which is very specific, right, and has a whole history of being transformative, right? It changes urban form. So, yeah, I'd love to see that swimming venue, right in the middle of this, or, whatever. And I'm also thinking that, this whole thing of leaving things to chance, right, is kind of bullshit, But or it's us being passive about it. Aggressive on one hand, but passive in another. So I've been talking about land grabs a lot here. What dictates which sites? Would you be strategic about where would you put this machine? To direct and revolutionary the urban form, which the LA River did. The channelization of it. So I just want to see a radical rethinking using the machine, like Godzilla. You can make a great. B-movie out of this.
I think originally in intention that's what I wanted to do, but I also need to game it down.
No, that's too bad.
Just in terms of the metrics that I'm looking at.
I think that we are definitely staring at this because you love it and you cannot avoid it. They're all in the sound. There's an issue of spectacle that is driven through the technology, and I think it's I have to congratulate you in the fact that you were able to do all of this, and it's fantastic. But I think it's very difficult to talk about technology without talking about culture.
Yeah.
And I think the cultural aspect is something that I would love to see the next steps, the development of this project. For example, if I think about airports, that comes to my mind. There's this moment that you have these amazing deals in the Munich airport. You have this amazing deal that all the crazy guys that love planes, they go there to check out the planes. And we start to get into a conversation about seeing, about being, about interacting with this spectacle on a medium scale. I think you are very delicate on a very tiny scale, and then you get the Godzilla scale out there. And maybe the media scale could start to allow you to find a platform that connects technology with culture.
Well, in that regard, I think this question of what is this river, one of the things you didn't mention is the fact that a significant portion of the water in the LA River is treated wastewater from sewage plants. And I think you can't ignore that, because that flow is controlled, and it's also, when it's not raining, when it's not wintertime, there wouldn't be any water in the LA River if it wasn't for those wastewater flow. So I think you have to actually embrace that. And that becomes part of this cultural, like it or not. That's why people have this weird feeling about the LA River now, is, what is that water? And I think you have to address the source of the water in this project. And that will tie it into the culture.
Yeah. There's also a source of this sediment, which I'm still a bit confused of as well, because if it is all treated wastewater, there's not sediment in it generally. If there is, it's a split system, so some of it's street runoff, but what kind of sediment are you pulling? It's probably not tons of sand, particularly if it's just a big channel, except for areas where they have opened up. And I know that initially, I was lucky enough to see this project one time during its development, and you were actually kind of tearing apart the river and producing sediment simultaneously, but it was all kind of automated, at least in your head. Like the robot was doing this destruction and was actually generating sediment typologies that meant to be addressed in certain ways. So there was a kind of a primitive sorting based on what was being deconstructed, because the deconstruction process then generated sediment of various types, and then that sediment type then related back to the plants. And I feel like some of that is not here.
So, in terms of my site analysis and mapping, there's actually going to be there's a large city-scale plan of the survey from the engineers in terms of the soil in each particular site, which I've thought about, and also not here, but it's definitely something that's informed me in terms of the 4 different scales. And then the mixtures that you begin to do in relation to the different types of use species.
I've been all day really obnoxious but thinking about people's future. And I have a question.
Why is that?
I have a question for you. Who would you like to work for? Frank Gehry or Mia Lehrer?
Bradley Cantrell?
I don't have any money, so.
I'm actually Neil Johnson.
I just, it's like you have to ask the question, where is it you're placing yourself? Because, and the decision, why the decision of Gehry over Mia Lehrer? Because we know there's going to be a complete different criteria and approach. One social and cultural, the other probably dangerously liking something like this to aestheticize and fetishize about the form of the river. So, I also feel like, you want to, get a little bit more, I don't know, angry at it, if it's angry, or just kind of adamant, or know the position, that you're putting yourself in, right, in terms of how it is that you're thinking and working.
And they should ask you to come out from behind the machine.
Yes.
And make some, don't be afraid to do that, right? I can understand that in the investigation that's necessary to build the model in the first place and extend its robotic features into predictive modeling require you to make tough choices and to take a stand on where it's located, how it's used, at what point in the intervention. It's a really important question. It seems like a simple one, but it's a deep question about, are you a fluvial geomorphologist and engineer, or are you a designer that works in the community using tools?
And, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, maybe because of the LAF and these fucking declarations. But is also, how would your thesis turn into a manifesto? A thesis is a hypothesis, you worked it out, and yada yada yada. Now I want a manifesto from you.
If you're not busy on June 11th.
I think it was brought up the relatively passive nature that this thing has kind of manifest itself into, I think, then opens you up to these. I think you could, and just because I feel like this project can be much more evil and intentionally evil if you wanted to. I think it's actually, as a thesis project, it's actually sometimes really important to think about evil things because sometimes you can hide behind all the good you're trying to do. And so, which we all should be doing good, I know, but I wonder, because you start getting questions about where the social implications of this, and I wish this project, somehow just kicked those questions to the curb, initially, so we could kind of talk about, what are the larger implications of, robotics and design, or this, feedback system that actually will mean that, you don't have a guy making decisions anymore, someone who has conscience and ethics, maybe, or doesn't. And that person now is just making a decision. It's this is a 1 or a 0, and if it's a 0, I don't care. It doesn't matter. So that's a huge thing.
It's a great comment because it's one we've just been talking about a lot, and particularly the concept that there is this learning behind it. Some of these not going into, but that there's actually a whole set of decisions that are being learned by this machine learning algorithm that are also then producing new forms of landscapes that are actually not even part of our vision of what this place would even need to perform at. It's not coming out necessarily right now. It's a very hard thing to wrap our head around. But it's a very interesting, I think, way to imagine how this infrastructure is automated, right? And it's not just binary. It's not just off or on, but it's a whole range of decisions that are being made that are outside of kind of human cognition.
But beyond that, I also would like to add the value of a machine like that. This is designed in a certain way. You could go out there to the public realm, and this be part of a larger awareness project, which many artists, for instance, try to develop. So could this be in that kind of the beginning of activism type of piece that triggers other types of project development? Public realm artists, go for it. And sometimes, I'm wondering if also this conversation raises the question, aren't we being also too conservative about what landscapers? Because activism and the social is a big important. I would like to get that from you. Go for it. Make this part of the public awareness of this environment. And people need to see to believe, need to sense to believe. Instead of going to the field and having field trip,
you put it out there and then see on a small experimental scale, it's very in real time, what result is that learning? What is the creation and what are the unintended results of it? Presumably on a scale where people have some response to it that allows these activist opportunities to arise or in turn to determine an alternate set of features. I think you have to be kind of categorical that the results would be unintended and probably reshape how we understand what the river is. And you looked again earlier by saying that it wasn't really a river anyway. So then that's interesting. What does it become?
So this wave machine produces the exact same way that it is on, which is both wonderful but is also a problem. Your machine's better because it's looking at itself, right, and responding, if not adapting, but responding. And for me, it's one of the most, this is where I'll really commend you, it's like the most interesting or compelling versions of the kind of smart city that I've seen so far. Mostly I want to grow up with all this stuff, like putting sensors everywhere, so some intern down at City Hall can misinterpret the data and then decide policy. It's insane.
I think that's
but this kind of group that you created where the river, you've given the river this kind of electronic prosthetic so it can look at itself and then use these, whether it's these pistons or whether it's something else or the wave machine or whatever, to then respond somehow without ever sending that information to the intern down at City Hall. For me, that's a kind of conceptual leap which is very strange and frightening and compelling.
That's definitely something that I've been thinking about, that in a way, what it's sensing is it's becoming an objective thing for the machine itself. But another, I had a counter argument to that for myself that if these are things that are being programmed, things that in a way that's still not autonomous, it still hinges on some sort of input.
But it's still an enclosed loop.
Right.
And that I have to confess that I have a certain trouble with that. And I'm wondering, thinking about video gaming and testing scenarios, and I'm wondering if you could also have the input of people that could be here, that could also form their landscape. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit pushing too much that kind of speculative thing, but how could we, expand the cultural aspect of it?
Maybe, maybe not. We've also seen the disaster that there have been recent experiments with this, of like where you get, Google puts a robot on the internet and it immediately becomes like a racist, misogynistic, murdering, like in a day.
But it's revealing something.
2 hours.
Isn't that revealing something?
Yeah. No, I agree.
It can reveal.
But that's the dystopic argument I think you're asking for. That's a great analogy, actually. The fact that the robot you referred to learned how to address people by using the language of internet trolls.
Yeah.
So the unintended consequence sort of needs to be the other side of this machine to really evaluate what its agency is.
But I will agree that it could not only be looking at itself for input, but it could also be looking up at the sky, right? It could be sensing the wind. So it could be taking multiple inputs.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Leif. This has been a year of Leif actually making, prototyping, building, and I've been really impressed with the kind of continual work you've been doing on this. It's a difficult topic, and it raised a whole range of, for me, interesting questions today. So thanks a lot for all your work on it.
I also would like to thank you in front of everyone for 5 classes and like a summer of research. Thank you. And also Natalie and Jason. I didn't know they're gonna be here, but I think they're the ones who like really help me like how are you getting emails, but like from CCA. Woo!
I know it's eventually worked on.
Yeah, right. I know. Like 19.
That's a lot of work. And I just say, well, we start presenting. I just
Although the pebbles are piling up. Yes. I was worried about that too, but they figured it out. Good advisor.
Hey. Well, a few years ago, I gained 35 pounds in 12th grade, and then I moved. Yeah. So actually, last night.
I love my question. Where did you get those old women for group size of those? You don't have to answer because I know the answer. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not going to let you get away with that. How cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you will see it. There's a lot of people here, so yeah.
So this is where we're at as well as creative.
I think it might be there. Yeah. I always do that. Lower and I guess it's very over.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Just whenever you're done with the library.
Okay.
So.
love the comment.
Rowan's gonna awkwardly be in the photo.
I love the comment.
Yeah, I didn't know photo op was happening.
Natalie, Leif wants to get a picture. I love the comment.
There's Leif. You guys see him? Seriously?
Yeah.
We got those.
But I was handing with people to get out.
Okay.
I have two.
The one.
They crashed it, like, right.
Thank you.
That's great. I love the
Yeah. I just released it last night.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful addition.
Wait, Leif, was it reactive to this camera or the Connect?
It's
gonna overflow
and
Okay.
Oh, from Harry? You're waiting for it?
I have to like pretend the end watching the
I know.
So, you guys can like a long process.
I very funny first, I'm.
The pink worked out.
Oh, really?
And because of it, I was like,
Okay. Look at this cool model.
These are great.
yeah.
I don't know if it's actually on, but I think so. I see like,
That's pure Leif.
right?
That's pure Leif.
I remember when they asked us for
Oh yeah. Having breakfast, I'm like, I better check it. I checked in at 4:30. And then so I like emailed her, I texted Brad, I was like, is these still things for 12? And it's more than it's like a definition.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, it's really good.
Say like figures out.
The conversation was good. What did you think?
It was good. I mean, definitely there's things that I thought about and never seen. It's also like there's so many complexities we're trying to like address.
Yeah.
But I just remember like, I remember the night before some story. So it's like, you're never finished. Your project's never done. So I just keep thinking myself and then I can expand on it and elaborate on it. But it's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, it wasn't, yeah. We did on Thursday.
You like the one that's going. That's funny because we always find this course in the water. Right. I mean, I guess I'm biased to say like, what's happening. There's already like,
Like it sort of does this like Eddie's tradition.
Yeah, we're kind of doing a project together.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. You guys had a funny trip.
Yeah, no, it was actually really nice to get away for today and do stuff like that, running the school around. And I really like that. She's one of our favorites.
I'm surprised. I told him how to do that.
Yeah.
Wait. Is it correct?
Not right now. I think the layer got $10. No, it's right there. It's there. It's like the size of the roots. I know.
Yeah, you probably have to do it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll forget it.
Thank you. Yeah. And you're.
So I just have to want to explain to me. I'm like, okay, now we're I heard it's very nice.
Yeah. I tried to do a live feed for my family and stuff. Where are you from? They're in Hawaii. Yeah.
Was it time?
Yeah, it's like 6 hours. So that's really good.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm in Hawaii.
Nice. Oh, cool. What, how many more years are you doing? I'm already there. MLA, so I did a meeting, yeah. Okay. And it was one of those decisions I wanted to do.
What's your biggest decision?
Yeah. I was so they taught me like all this stuff. They do. They have okay. Like not like my parents, but like so they do a lot of responsive interaction environment. Everything basically I learned here was from them. So I'm happy with their work.
I'm very ignorant on this, but I have a question on the sensor control.
Oh, so the sensor I'm using the camera. So it's using grasshopper and butterfly. So it's getting a graphical basis. Right now it's on low resolution. Right. So it's using that as an average to detect.
Yeah. And actually,
that could determine which
I'm here.
Low to interrupt and erode or creepy.
And it kind of feeds back to here and how it determines if it's color.
Yes. And then the color then corresponds to the output. That's compared to and every time. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So in a way, like we can kind of predict the events. Yeah. Not quite, but like you're getting there.
Yeah.
Every time. That's the key.
What are you thinking about next step? You want to come in front of like, or are you interested in
because like I don't know the article, like you can put it on the design art. No, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, for sure. I don't really care what I do, but maybe something about it. I do things like that. I've been really into coding. Maybe work at Facebook or Google.
Nice. It's also very, really good.
Thanks for coming.
I really wanted to come in during the presentation, but it was just so full.
It was packed. Yeah.
It's just like so cool.
I know. I thought there's only going to be 7. I was told only 7. If I go later.
No, like, yeah, plenty of room for 7.
Are you ever going to do sort of like redo for people who couldn't make this presentation? I really like to.
All these and
I got it.
Yeah, all of
it. The person who it's actually recorded.
Oh, nothing.
It's recorded by the GSD.
Oh, great.
So yeah, it's recorded. Thanks so much again.
Yeah.
Really, they got it online.
Hopefully it looks good because all the people were walking from the
I know.
guy kept like covering it.
It's like at that point, like you can't control them.
Yeah, so I let it go at the end, and it's sort of you can see you, but at the end, but you can't actually see anything. But you learn really, really stuff.
And the other camera was just like, scanning the computer off, whatever, as much as I could. So we'll see. But if you send me all of this, whenever you include these things, I can just show the actual thing instead of. So there'll be a lot of intercut things in there. And anything that you reference, talked about, you can show all this. Yeah, at some point. YouTube channel or? Yeah, one of those.
Okay, one of those. Okay.
Yeah, probably both. No, I'm not assuming it looks good. Just like horrible. Yeah, no, I mean,
because there's so many people. I actually forgot to move this because I'm doing a live feed for my family. But I left it there because I'm so frazzled.
You mean it was?
Yeah, I didn't know it was that much. I was told 7. Okay, that's a good decent size.
Yeah. No, that was at least what? 20? Yeah. 30? Yeah. Well, anyways, if I do the video, which one?
Definitely.
And this, you did talk about this.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any way to,
because this is a live thing, so I can record a video.
Yeah, record a video, just get me that, and then when you said, you can see on the screen, I can actually show that. That won't have anything, that's fine.
Okay, I know, there's things that...
Yeah, so we can sort of, I might have to go back and go through, with different boards.
Awesome.
Then I got to figure out which one you were.
Thank you.
Anyway, we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me do this.
I'm going to say bye. This is weird. Thanks for watching. I'm going to cut the feed now. Bye. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Nice to meet you.